Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Westfield, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives, to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey everybody, happy Saturday and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels and I am so happy you could join us here this morning. Wherever you are in the world, I know that we're streaming into Europe and down into Asia, over across the United States. Glad you could join us. So either it's good morning or good afternoon, one or the other. Also want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. I got to tell you folks right now, I'm giving you a little sneak preview. We're going to be discussing a rather profound and sensitive topic here coming up, and I encourage you to check in because this has been something that's been in the newspapers for quite a bit for the last few years. And we're going to tackle a tough subject today, and we do that from time to time, so stay tuned. I want to remind you, if during the show you have a question for me or my guest, you can give us a call at 716-753-5225. And you know the rule, to go be nice. Thank you, Jeff. Be nice. So that's all we ask. And Randy usually is on the other end of the phone, and he'll take your call. If you're shy, if you don't want to hear your voice on TV, you can simply tell Randy what the question is, and they'll somehow get it to me. All right? If you have an event, a fundraiser, something that you want to share, an anniversary or birthday, we do that from time to time, you can go to our Facebook page, you can go to our email address, wherever, and they pop that up now and then, and you can get that to us. And as you know, I have quite a few announcements from time to time. And you know what's interesting is that as we are getting out of this pandemic mode, we are seeing more and more events popping up, and so my announcements are getting longer and longer. There was one time I had 13 pages of announcements, and then I was down to like one. Remember back about April last year, it was like, go city, and now things are coming back. So I can kind of gauge how things are going because of that. I hope you're enjoying the weather. Are you getting outside, getting some exercise?
Yes.
All right, good man. Like everybody else, we've been chomping at the bit because of the rain and the cool weather. And Brody and I, that's my dog, if you don't know it. We go out and we cut grass and we pick up sticks, and I pick up the sticks that he picks up and leaves behind, and we have a good time. But boy, I'm getting sore. All those winter muscles we didn't use all that time. They're getting used now. Anyways, it's great. The flowers are out, and my gosh, there's a lot of birds, all kinds of birds, and I'm so excited. The bluebirds are sticking around, but I'm still holding out on martins. I haven't been able to attract martins to our house. I'm doing something wrong. Anybody knows anything about martins, give me a call. Give me a clue how to do this. Okay. I got some announcements because I want to spend enough time with my guest on what we're going to be talking about today. So we're going to move right along. I have an announcement that's not in your notes, Jeff, but it's a reminder that on May 23rd, Randy Anderson and the crew are going to be showcasing for the first time a free drive-in presentation of the Dick Barton team movie. Remember we were talking about that last week? So if you go to the Comedy Center on May 23rd at 6 p.m. on those big screens, you're going to be able to watch an outdoor movie. I think that's pretty darn cool. Okay, so look for those advertisements. Okay, so now I have some announcements that have come in from all of you. So we get a number of announcements from Prevention Works. We're getting some now from Cornell Extension, and then just you name it, we get them. So let's see what we got here today. All right, let's start with slide 15. There's a discussion group from Triple P and Prevention Works. Okay, there it is. Parents stay positive managing fighting and aggression. Join them for a 2-hour discussion on May 18th, coming up, from 5 to 7 p.m. Who? Parents of Jamestown Public School students. Where? Zoom. If you're interested, give Lucy Price a call at 366-4623. Now, I think by now most of us know what Zoom is, but if you don't know, it's an app. It's a computer app for your phone or your iPad or your computer, whatever. And magically, you can click on a button, and up comes a screen, and they see you, and you see them, and you can talk to them, and it's just way cool. It's sort of like George Jetson talking to his boss on the wall. Okay, slide 16, 4-H agriculture. Okay, 4-H teaches local youth about agriculture. Let's see. They're partnering with the New York State Department of Agriculture. Recently, they participated in a statewide program known as Ag Literacy Week. Despite setbacks, changes, and logistical complications, the CCE Chautauqua was able to provide 19 local schools with agricultural curriculum as part of an Ag Literacy Week. And I'm just telling you a little bit about this. 19 Chautauqua County schools and approximately 2,500 students participated in New York State Agricultural Literacy Week. This year's book was called Chuck's Ice Cream Wish, or Tales of the Dairy Godmother. Written by Viola Butler, highlighted one of Chautauqua County's largest agricultural industries, dairy. Through this story, students learn the health benefits of dairy, the connection to farms, and through a hands-on activity on how to make homemade ice cream. Okay, now the reason why I mentioned this, and I was pleased to see it, is for a couple of years I went into Ripley School and I was given materials from Cornell Extension, and we talked about farming and bringing fruits and vegetables from the farmers or raising our own, and the kids just had a ball. And so good on the Extension for being able to get into the classrooms and give them a book about all of that. Just as a sidebar, the STORY program is one of the many programs offered by Cornell Cooperative Extension of Chautauqua County. It's a subordinate governmental agency with educational mission that operates under a form of organization and administration approved by the Cornell University as an agent of New York State. Okay, they were on here a couple weeks ago, and so we learned quite a bit of good stuff that they do, and they work with the 4-H group. Okay, here's another one for you. This is a Positive Parent Program. We're doing a lot of parenting lately, huh? Boy, oh boy, it's tough out there with the kids being home all day and not in school if they're still on the hybrid schedule, or sometimes they're home, sometimes they're at school. Help parents to cope positively with some of the common issues associated with raising a teenager. What possibly could you want to know about raising a teenager? Holy mackerel. Whew, I'm glad my kids are all grown up. How to deal with day-to-day challenges and promote your child's development. Strategies on how to help your teen manage their emotions. Explore why teens can get into trouble and what they need to learn to avoid or manage risky situations. Strategies to teach teens how to get along with each other, mainly your brother or sister, resolve problems, and how to deal with conflict. Parents, stay positive. Our free 2-hour discussion groups can help you. Okay, the next one is coming up is May 17th from 12 to 2 p.m. Again, it's Zoom, and you just check in with Prevention Works group there in the phone book. All right, and I think that same number I used earlier, 366-4623 will get you in. All right, this is another one. This is an interesting one. This is called Push for Clean Heat. All right, Cornell Extension, another one from them, is excited to announce a new partnership and workshop series with Push Green, the Western New York Virtual Energy Tour. Meet the Clean Heating and Cooling team. Learn more about ground and air source heating and cooling, and what programs can help you upgrade your home with renewable energy. We talk a lot about that these days. This year, Extension is collaborating on a virtual tour across New York State with workshops on energy efficiency, opportunities, and vital information for every step of your going green journey. Many of you know I've got solar cells on my house, and we're producing lots of electricity this month. All workshops will be held on Zoom on the 4th Thursday of the month from 6 to 7 p.m. and starting on May 27th. So for more information on that, and that sounds pretty interesting, 664-9502. Again, 664-9502. And these are all free. And let's see. And then in June, they're going to be studying solar energy and so forth. So check it out, and it's available. Very cool. Okay, here's another one called PAX Tools. This is coming up in 2 weeks. All right, PAX Tools is an evidence-based set of strategies that parents can use at home to help teach their children the skill of self-regulation. The ability to self-regulate is the most important indicator of future success, even more significant than other factors such as socioeconomic status, race, gender, etc. And these are going to be held May 24 and 25 at 10 a.m. And again, you give them a call and they'll get you hooked up. Let's see, where am I here? I did that one. Moving along. Let's see here. Okay, there's another one. This is called the LEAF, L-E-A-F, Junior Soil Painting Workshop. Sounds like fun. Let's see. The Extension 4-H invites area youth to participate in their upcoming LEAF Junior Soil Crayon Workshop. I had to say those slow. That will be held on May 26th at 6 p.m. at the Carnahan Center, located on SUNY JCC campus. Okay? You know, this is kind of neat. We haven't really announced too many things for young kids, have we? So this is kind of a new area for us. The LEAF, which stands for Learn, Empower, Achieve, Farm, workshop series was created for adult learners on beginning farmer and homesteading topics. The 4-H Youth Development Program wanted to extend those programs further by offering fun, engaging classes for all youth in the area, and LEAF Junior was born. So if you're interested, again, give them a call at 664-9502, extension 216. So what would they be doing? Melly Brown is a 4-H educator and story project leader. We talked about the story group. We'll be teaching the workshop based on the Natural Resources Conservation Service Soil Crayons curriculum. Youth ages 8 to 18 are welcome to come and learn about one of their most important, or one of ours, not just theirs, important natural resources, soil. I guess we don't think about it very often, do we? The lesson will be followed by an activity where youth will make their own crayons using soil. What? That sounds kind of cool. Participants will take home the crayons that they create. And again, 664-9502. All right, there's one more from them, looks like here. This is called the 4-H STEM program. Okay, let's see what it says here. The Extension, working in partnership with local libraries, is excited to announce new programming opportunities. Chautauqua County has been providing programming through the COVID-19 pandemic. Over the past several months, programming has included in-person exploration Mars classes, and in-person, vermicomposting class. I'll get it. 4-H youth educator Molly Brown was able to deliver an 8-week in-person STEM program at the Samuel G. Love Elementary School. So they're offering all kinds of really cool programs. And again, if you want to find out what they're doing for kids and when it's happening, 664-9502. And my last one, the Jamestown Pride Fest is set for Saturday, June 12th. The Jamestown Pride Steering and Planning Committees are excited to announce that Pride festivities will happen in downtown Jamestown on Saturday, June 12th. The LGBTQIA plus community has historically celebrated Pride in June to commemorate the Stonewall riots that took place in June 1969. Wow, that was some time ago. The day will start at 9:30 a.m. with a Pride flag raising and the Pulse Anniversary Remembrance Ceremony on Tracy Plaza with Mayor Eddie Sundquist. Jamestown Pride will be part of the Jamestown Public Market from 10 to 2 p.m. And if you've never been to the Jamestown Market, it's really a lot of fun. And they close off the street and all kinds of things going on. Will Russell and I used to play down there quite often. Nice time. The Pride-themed tents will feature activities such as gender-bred person booth, drag time story hour, and a pronoun button tent. Activities will also be taking place from noon until 9 p.m. On the Winter Garden Plaza on North Main Street. These will include resource tables from local organizations, a yoga class, and a Zumba class. Justin, I think that Zumba class would be great for your dad. What do you think? I hear the laughing through the wall. Okay, Pride Fest will be capped off with a free performance at 8 p.m. at the Winter Garden Plaza by Paul's Drag Race Star and Jamestown native Pandora Box. Okay, Pride Coordinator Sheridan Smith says the following. After having to cancel most of last year's Pride events, we have been planning due to the pandemic. We are so excited to be able to hold this festival this year. It's important for the queer community to have opportunities to celebrate our pride of who we are with each other, while we also provide resources to our community for those who may be in the process of coming out and finding that pride in themselves. All right, and let's see, there's no contact information here, but the Jamestown Pride events are presented by the Evergreen Health and are also sponsored by Media One Group, the Chautauqua Center, the Mental Health Association of Chautauqua County, the Jamestown Public Market, and Chautauqua Institution, and Silver Tree Seniors. Okay, as you can see how simple that was. You send me the information, I read it, tried not to stutter or get stuck on a word, and there you go. So keep the comments and questions and announcements coming. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
This is the moment I knew. His future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Okay, I gave you a little teaser in the beginning of the show, and I want to first kind of frame this a little bit, and then we'll get actually introduce my guest. I mentioned that we talk about sensitive topics. We talk about things that are all around us. And if we put our heads in the sand, if we just don't want to talk about things, things don't change, things don't get better, and life goes on the same way as always. And today we're going to be talking about some things that hopefully will change things here. My guest today, I have known, and I had to do the math. I woke up thinking about this. 25 years ago, Marijka, Lampard, and I started a journey, right? It was really a journey with a bunch of other crazy people called the Chautauqua Network. And we many of us have stayed in touch. Not necessarily a lot, but here we are 25 years later. But I'm still in touch with it, like Roberta Keller, Ron Page. I ran into Mike Ferguson and other people, and we were all part of this group that moved together for a whole year, and we were the class of '97, and it was a great experience. So welcome to the show, Marijka.
It's wonderful to be here, John. It was Chautauqua Leadership Network that we were part of, being trained to be a leader.
Okay.
In the county.
We got to take 1 second, and Justin, we're going to need your assistance. Evidently, her microphone has come loose, so we got to fish that out of there and get it repositioned for you.
Where did it go?
I don't know. So we'll let Justin and Marijka work that out. The Chautauqua Leadership Network, we'll do a plug for them while they're figuring this out. I do that all the time. I step on mine and it ends up on the floor. The Chautauqua Leadership Network is an organization that develops leaders in the community to work on common issues, problems. If you need somebody, like Marijka contacted me, and the next thing you know, she's on my show. Many of you have seen Mike Ferguson on the show, and we've kept in really good contact. And you're back. Your microphone's back.
Yes.
Yes. I step on mine seriously, like once every month, and then it's down on the floor, and I gotta pick it up. So, anyways, so back to you. So, what were you saying?
So it was a wonderful year learning about the county and being trained with various skills to become leaders in the county, and it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they put us through some of those situations where trust type things.
Trust,
where you
yes.
had
Maybe that's where I became interested in trust.
And it really turned out to be, like I said, life-changing in many respects.
Yes.
And so if any of you are watching out there and are interested in the Chautauqua Leadership Network, it's in the phone book. You can find her definitely on Facebook, and it's something that I would highly recommend being involved with.
Me too.
So back then, they made us take these things, I don't know, surveys or whatever. And so I know what I was. I was an extrovert, like to the nth degree. Imagine that. And so, how did you turn out? Were you extrovert?
I was an extrovert. Myself and Shepard were the only two in that category. I forget the
all the different
acronym.
letters, but it was so really we learned about ourselves, and I think when I would like to think that perhaps they're responsible for us being here right this moment to be able to talk about what we're going to talk about.
It did help give me confidence.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. This is your first time on live TV.
It is. It's so exciting. Oh my goodness.
Give us the elevator speech. Who's Marijka Lampard?
Well, I have lived in Jamestown about 38 years, 3 children, established a company, HIPSA Acumen, which existed for still exists. My sons bought the company.
What does that do?
So we do planning, essentially, for hospitals, and specifically recruitment that helps with recruitment for physicians.
Wow.
And reimbursement for doctors.
That's a full-time job. It has to be, because
it was.
I sat on the Westfield Memorial Hospital board, and it was we're always talking about finding a urologist, somebody that does allergies or skin or whatever, dermatologist.
It's a continual challenge. In fact, some government officials referred to physicians, primary care physicians, as migrant workers, because they move around so much.
School superintendents are the same way. Except for me, I did not go anywhere. I sat on one time and I was out of there. So before the 38 years, you said?
Yes. So sold my company in 2016 to my sons, John and Joe, and they're very busy with projects. And then I retired for a year, went back for a year to work with them, and then COVID hit.
Yeah. It's a year nobody remembers. I mean, no, I'm serious. People say to me, what happened last year? I say, I don't remember. And it's not because I had, any particular reason. It's just
Yes.
a year that was not memorable other
Yes.
than panic.
Yes.
So crazy.
Yes.
So you mentioned earlier that you have an ancestry in Europe.
I do. I think it's fantastic that you're broadcasting in Europe and Asia
Yeah.
and all over America.
We're streaming everywhere.
And that you're actually broadcasting in the Netherlands.
And do a little plug. My cousin Cor Hamels, he's
Yeah.
from the Dordrecht area, I was saying,
Oh,
and he
okay.
watches the show quite often. So,
How about
Cor,
that?
if you're watching, you have a fellow
Yeah.
Dutch person here. I don't know
Yeah.
what the proper term is, but I think Hamels is Belgian Dutch.
Oh,
so,
how about
so
that?
we,
Okay.
he and I work on our genealogy. So,
Okay.
yeah, so Cor and his family watch the show.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wel, hallo, Cor. Hoe gaat het mee? Ik hoop dat zie mijn boek in de Nederlands. Op bol.com kan je het kopen. En ik zal ook praten over Nederlands katholieke kerk. So ik hoop dat het helpt.
And here's my Dutch, doei. It's bye, right? So
Ja, doei.
doei.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that's the first time I've had anybody speak Dutch here. So how cool is that? So
Yeah.
so we do have some relatives, a lot of them, in Holland. Okay, we digress. So you contacted me some time ago.
Yes.
Okay, and I think I want to say from the way I read your email, you were timid about approaching me on this topic, and were surprised when I said sure.
Yeah.
So
it's
why
wonderful.
were you kind of reticent or timid to even contact me?
Well, this is my first TV show.
Oh, all right.
You
You're
know.
in good hands here.
So, yes, I'm just stepping out now with the book, and it's pretty exciting. I was also interviewed by John Whitaker of the Post-Journal,
Okay,
and that was great fun.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get to why we're here today.
Okay.
Okay, I mentioned that there's been a major issue that has been in our culture lately, being exposed and talked about. It's been
Yes.
forever, but it's finally come to surface. So how did you get involved with this? I'm going to let you
Okay,
talk about
sure.
the topic and introduce it
Okay.
however you want to.
Okay, so John, back in 2018, when the scandals hit the news, TV, newspaper, it seemed every week there were more stories about parishes and priests and the diocese, the chancery, and it impacted me because I'm a strong Catholic, and so it became apparent in parishes around me that the center pews were empty,
Yeah.
and that collections were down 30 by 50%. And people were moving to the sides of the church and then to the back of the church and then out the door. So it was very worrisome. Plus, what was in the news was very troublesome and disheartening and just painful.
I recall reading the newspaper, obviously, like you were mentioning, and one time is okay, things happen, and then now a second one, and
Yes.
and it kept building.
Yes,
and
it
to the
kept
point
building.
where I think there was even in the newspaper, I don't want to even say how many, a lot of pictures of
Yes.
a lot of priests,
Yes.
and it was pretty shocking.
Yes.
And then to read the stories that were associated, that it went back quite. We're talking years and years and years, right?
Decades.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
A friend of mine, Kathleen McGow Johnson, who taught Spanish at the college for 40 years, we're talking about this whole issue. We go back over 30 years since our kids were in Montessori school.
Yeah.
Yes, and so we were saying, I wish we could do something, and lo and behold, there was an article in the Buffalo News written by Dr. John Hurley, doctor of jurisprudence, who is president of Canisius College. And in that article, he said it would be the laity, the parishioners, that would save the church.
did you say John Hurley?
Yeah.
Do you know him personally?
Yeah.
Is he like my age? Do you know? Because I went to school with the John Hurley.
Oh, you did?
Because I'm from Buffalo originally, and I was just wondering if it was the same John Hurley.
It could be.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Okay, so the laity was going to come forward. In
His
other
wife's
words,
Maureen.
I don't
Okay,
know. I just went
okay.
to grammar school with him.
So we picked up on that, and we contacted him, and he started a movement called Movement to Restore Trust, MRT. And so he invited us to join. Meanwhile, we were saying to each other, why don't we go out there and look for parishes that are doing it right?
No, wait a minute. You're a parishioner,
Yes, I'm a parishioner.
and you don't sit on any board of the church?
No.
So you're like a loose cannon here.
I'm
you're
a
on
loose
your own.
cannon, yeah.
You're not sanctioned by the Pope, or
No.
this is just Marijka and your friend.
Yes.
All right, I'm
Yes.
setting the stage here.
Yes.
Because this is kind of gutsy,
Well,
in my book anyways.
it took a lot of courage, but Chautauqua Leadership Network
There you go.
trained you, and to make a difference, to get out there and do something. So we decided, we put together a questionnaire of about 165 components,
Wow.
and we decided we would visit parishes in the diocese to find out who's doing it right, what parish is doing it well.
Okay, so when you say diocese, for those that may not be familiar with
Yes.
that term,
Okay.
I am, but how big is
Okay.
the diocese these days? I don't even
So
know.
the Diocese of Buffalo is over 160 parishes, and it covers about, well,
Probably about 7 counties? It's gotta
at
be-
least 12 counties.
12?
Yeah,
Whew.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it's very large. It has over 600,000 Catholics.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so there you are,
Yeah.
and you're going to go talk to
Yes.
parishes that are getting it right. How
Yes.
do you know they were getting it right?
Because we spent about 8 hours on each parish, assessing all the aspects of the parish, talking to parishioners, speaking with the priest, and so by the skill of observation, we documented.
Okay. So you said you had 165, this is the 165 questions you said?
165 components.
Oh, components?
Yes.
So there's a lot of questions within the components.
Yes, I mean, it was a lot of work,
And this was non-paid?
No, it's not paid. No, but we'd go to Bob.
Well,
Evans.
I'm saying this is a lot of work.
Oh, it's a lot of work. But we found it so fascinating because every parish is unique and different, and it was so fun. And then after Mass, we would go to Bob Evans and have bacon and eggs. That was our
Well,
treat.
How do you go into a parish and say, what's the history of your parish and abuse and priests? I mean, that's not like a simple just come on in.
No, because we weren't focusing on the abuse. We were focusing on the functionality of the parish.
Okay.
How dynamic were they? What were they doing in their programs and their website? And
So how did they overcome this issue maybe?
well, just how were they operating? And so we found out a great deal of information. So then at the end of a year and a half, we had done 25% of the diocese, 40 parishes.
Holy mackerel.
And every parish had a file folder, and it was just very exciting, very fascinating. Meanwhile, we were also looking at parishes outside the state that were truly exceptional, and it was just well, my mother used to say, dumb luck. that we fell upon these amazing parishes. And so Kathleen went on vacation to Florida. I went on vacation to see my family in Florida. And then COVID hit. Yeah. And we came back and we were sitting around the kitchen table and we said, now what? We can't visit parishes anymore. But let's look at what we have here on the table. And we said, you know, this is just like amazing information. And my son John, who is an MBA and an analyst, and he said, put it in a spreadsheet and give it to the diocese, to the chancery. And I said, well, I have a feeling it's just going to sit on a shelf. And, you know, from my own experience, most people don't know how to read spreadsheets. They can't look at all those variables, pull out the takeaways, compare, and make conclusions.
Yeah.
You know,
and then
prioritize and then run with it. So I said, no, I don't want to do all the work and then nothing happens.
Create another doorstop.
Yes, yes. And besides, it's the laity. I kept thinking what John Hurley said. It's the laity that will help save the church. So I said, I think I'm going to have to write a book. And Kathleen said, Marijka, you can write the book. She did contribute several pages. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself writing in this book. I've read it over 24 times, and I'm still fascinated by it, which says a lot because I do get bored with things, you know, and that's why I didn't know if I was going to even finish this because, you know, I do get bored with things. So anyhow, that's how the book happened.
Okay.
Wrote it. It's all based on truths. It's based on evidence. Based on two studies, the one we did and then the study that MRT did, which was organizing listening sessions at the various parishes. So we listened to the people, and I wanted the people to know in the book, I heard them, all of their grievances over the past decades and all their concerns and their heartbreaks. I wanted the book to be based on that because when you base solutions on truth, you get somewhere. And this book is full of solutions based on truth.
Before we get to the book in a bit, I want to remind my listeners and viewers right now that you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and my guest today is Marijka Lampard. And we're discussing a book that's called
Restoring Trust in the Catholic Parish.
Okay. And if you have a question or a comment, give us a call at 753-522-5, and they'll be happy to chat with you because this is something that needs to be talked about. And I think that's really extremely noble of you to take the time to delve into this matter because, as you say, there's a lot of folks, 600,000 people that are involved here, and more to come. But you know, I was envisioning what you were talking about during this time. It's almost like a dark period where there was all these exposés about these priests and so forth, and how the church was slowly drifting. I mean, you walk into a church. When I was a kid, you could. on Easter, Good Friday, you could not get into the church. And I would bet,
Yes.
in the story that you just told, people were on the sidelines, they were towards the back, they were
Yes.
afraid,
Yes.
whatever,
Yes.
whether it was embarrassment or
Yes.
concern.
Yes.
What were they feeling during this period of time?
You're right about that feeling, that kind of hamstrung, like we didn't have the power to do anything, bowing to the hierarchy. The hierarchy made the decisions, they provided the leadership, and the laity had a much lesser role in the Catholic Church. That is changing rapidly,
Okay.
and it's very exciting. It's and that makes it very hopeful too. When I was writing the book, I vacillated between timidity, like, I can't believe I'm writing this on paper. I can't believe I'm really addressing the chancery, the bishop, the leadership, speaking for the laity, and then vacillating between timidity and temerity, like feeling emboldened and feeling impassioned because this subject is so vital.
Yeah.
We are losing the church in America, just like they're losing the church, did lose the church in Europe.
Yeah.
And I'm quite familiar with the situation in the Netherlands, where in the 60s, 55% of the Catholics were going to Mass weekly. Today, 5.6%.
I was going to say it's got to be really low. Yeah.
It's very, very low. And so I found that very, very disturbing. And speaking with my cousins, and I have cousins and aunts and uncles in Husse, Arnhem, Saint-Port Noord, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Delft, and I go over there every 2 years. So I was very sensitive about it and aware, and speaking with my relatives, and it was at times very disturbing how they could be raised in a strong Catholic family, the same as I was, and they dropped it all.
You know, this is fascinating that you're talking about the connection across the ocean, because as I mentioned, I have cousins in the Netherlands, in Belgium, and so forth. And regardless of what the topic is,
Yeah.
there's a commonality
Yes.
across the pond, as they call it.
Yes.
And we're all facing similar issues. It's not just here
Yes.
in Chautauqua County or
Yes.
New York State or United States.
Yes.
It flows back and forth. So you really struck a chord with me on that, because I've sat and through either translations or half English, half whatever, we've come to common ground to talk about some really social issues such as this.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so you've written this book, and we're going to get to the contents here in a second. I just have one more question. What was the reception you got from the bishop, from the priests, the nuns, whatever, whomever, that you were bold enough to take this on and say, this is the way,
Yes.
this is what a good parish looks like.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
that had been put people on their heels.
Yes. Well, some of there are a couple parishes that are already using my book.
So it's a tool.
It's a tool.
Whoa.
And they've said it's almost like a handbook. And they are priests that are open to work with the laity and realize that it makes their job easier, because the priest, two main jobs of the priest are a good homily or sermon on Sunday morning, and every day at Mass, and then secondly, administering the sacraments.
Right.
And that takes up a tremendous amount of time. So there's ample opportunity for laity to help with all the other ministries and social aspects of a parish.
So historically, it's almost like there was a division. You had the clergy
Yes.
that told you what's going to happen,
Yes.
and y'all sat there and said, okay.
Yes.
Now it
Yes.
sounds to me it's like you're pushing
Yes.
back and saying, this is
Yes.
ours, and
Yes.
you work with us or
Yes.
for us or
Yes.
however, and it's a more interactive. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's definitely more interactive, and the parishes that are on fire are the ones where the laity is very involved.
Okay.
And they're building it up. And, you know, John, I came across in my research, and one of the things people say about the book is unbelievable amount of research in here, and that they find very, very helpful. One of the things that I came across when I was feeling, vacillating between temerity and timidity, I came across this, and MRT is very, very helpful. Now it's up to 150 well-educated, impassioned Catholics that are making a difference in the church. And the bishop, our new bishop, Bishop Michael Fisher, is now working with MRT, and he is reading my book.
That's pretty exciting.
Yes, and I'm looking for endorsements because I'm just a first-time author and
Pretty
unknown.
gutsy. Okay,
Pretty gutsy.
So what's it say?
So this piece of research is fascinating. Back in 1983, our Pope, John Paul II, created the rights of the laity
Okay.
and put it into canon law. That was back in 1983. Now, that was after I had gone to a convent school and all my Catholic education, but I never knew about it. And when I talked to people who have read the book, they said, that was mind-blowing.
It's always been there all
It's
these years.
always been there.
That's almost 40 years, or whatever the math is on that.
Yeah.
You said 83, so
yeah.
17.
Yeah, about around
almost,
40 years.
Almost 40 years.
Yeah. And we didn't know about it. And let me touch on the rights.
Please do.
The right to participate actively in church life.
It was what I just said, interactive, right?
The right of equality. The laity intrinsically possess true equality and to partake in building up the body of Christ. The right to express needs, desires, and opinions.
There you are.
We never thought we had that right.
You were on solid ground then.
I was, yeah. And this was after I had written the book, and I was working on the final edits of the book, and I was getting very nervous, about it, because it took a lot of courage to write the book.
I guess so.
The right to initiate, promote, and sustain apostolic activities, the right to be informed, the right to be consulted in the selection of pastoral leaders, and the right to help create programs and develop the church.
We have a phone call.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So here we go. So you've just outlined some things that are available and for the laity. So
Yeah.
let's see what our caller has to say.
Okay.
Good morning, caller.
Oh, good morning, Doc, and good morning to your guest, Mister. It's so great to see you on the show, and congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
Yes, it's interesting to have those kinds of things, and we need those things, especially at this time,
Yes.
in this day and age.
For sure.
I welcome your question.
Well, I don't know as if I have any questions.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the encouragement.
Well, I could give you a question. I could think of one. I know I went to Catholic schools all the way through grade school, high school, and college.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Chautauqua.
Oh,
Just down the road.
Oh, how about that? My book is for sale at the Chautauqua bookstore.
Oh, well,
Yes.
I definitely will get it, and I look forward to it.
Yes, also on Amazon.
Of course.
Of course. Yes.
Linda, what high school did you go to?
I graduated from Baker Victory High School in Lackawanna.
Oh, how about
I went to
that?
Canisius High School.
Oh, I loved Canisius. The boys were always so polite.
Of course.
and it was a delight to go to the Passion Play because the boys would always open the doors for us when we came.
Oh, how
I couldn't
nice.
believe it, high school boys doing this for high school girls.
Those Jesuits made us do those
Yes,
things.
well
Oh, I
trained.
know the Jesuits did. Well, I was taught by the Jesuits in college, and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you have any question as far as the book goes?
No, just that I'm. How long do you think it will take me to read it?
Well, it takes me about 4 hours, but I've been through it a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
I've read-
easy to read. It really is easy to read, and it's more of a conversational style.
Uh-huh.
And I urge you to read it. I think it will inspire you.
Yes. Well, I've read a number of books by Sister Joan Chittister,
Oh yes,
and I go to the monastery every now and then.
yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, thank you for the call.
Well, Lynn, thanks for calling as always, and I hope you're enjoying the better weather now.
Oh, this is glorious.
Yes.
Who wants to go to those places like Florida? Forget it. This is gorgeous.
Just right for me.
Well, have a wonderful day and weekend.
All right, Lynn, thanks for calling in.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. There, that was a
Yes.
nice call, huh?
Yes,
All
very
right.
nice.
Okay, so had you finished the list of rights?
Yes,
Okay, so
Yes.
the Pope put this
Yes.
together in
Yes.
83,
yes,
and nobody really paid attention to it.
No.
Because nobody needed it, because here you were still being told what to do,
Yes,
or,
yes.
you guys can't possibly be making mistakes.
Yes.
And now all of a sudden everything blows up.
yes,
And now what do we do?
yes.
Basically, right?
Yes. So MRT is working on a fantastic plan. In the book is written from a planning point of view because I'm a planner. I was educated to be a planner, and my company did planning projects. So the book comes from that point of view, not an academic point of view. MRT is very law-based, but also very academic, but very, very practical. So they have created what I call in here regionalization. They have created a plan that is called a family of parishes. So to tackle all of the issues, and pretty much the issue of concerning the scandals is tackled. The canon law will be changed. The laity will be involved in any foreseeable cases. But the fact is, we really have not had any cases since 2002 because of the Veritas program, which requires extensive examination of any adult working with youth in the parishes. It's on top of it.
Okay, so for my listeners and viewers right now, I want to make this clear. This book is not an expose on scandals.
No.
This is a book to say this is how you have a really healthy,
Yes.
surviving, flourishing
Yes.
parish.
Yes, exactly. However, the first couple of chapters gets into the truth. Now, the truth, for those that are not completely familiar with the truths, it may seem harsh and unsettling, but the fact is, the Diocese of Buffalo is very similar to other dioceses. So this book is not just relevant to the Diocese of Buffalo, but relevant to any
So you can
diocese in the
generalize it
United
anywhere,
States.
probably around the world for that matter.
Yes, and throughout the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I urge the people in the Netherlands to read the book for great ideas. Bishop Eijk predicts that 2/3 of the Catholic churches will be closed in the Netherlands
Wow.
by 2025. So you've got 5 years, let's say 4 or 5 years to make a difference. Get the book and turn it around.
Well, they're closing parishes here in the States as well. I mean,
Oh, yes.
I remember reading the
Yes.
Buffalo News once in a while or something, that, this parish now has their
Yes.
same priest, or these, look at Chautauqua County where I
Yes.
live. Ripley doesn't
Sure.
have a Catholic church anymore, where they go to
Yes.
Westfield, or
Yes,
there's a
yes.
traveling priest or
Yes.
something along those lines. So,
Yes.
yeah.
So this concept extends a helping hand to parishes that are struggling, and parishes, it encourages parishes to work together, because a healthy parish has many aspects to the program. So by working together among parishes, it's very workable, it's doable.
So the reader that you're trying to target really is the parishioner,
Yes, yes, yes,
as well as the
Yes.
priest and
Yes.
so forth. But
yes.
so at your own parish, have people
Yes.
been using this book?
Yes, it's selling reasonably well. It just needs to be out there more.
Oh.
And John Hurley, president of Canisius, told me he's endorsing the book.
Nice.
Yeah. So the next revision edition will be probably June, and then the endorsement will be on the back of the book.
Believe it or not, we're down to about 1 minute and 50 seconds left.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you can get the book at the Chautauqua bookstore. Where
Yes.
else locally? Any place else locally?
Not
Not
that
yet.
no, we used to have bookstores, but Barnes and Noble carry it. So the easiest way is on Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the cost?
$12.95.
Today's age, that's cheap. That's
Yes.
not bad at all.
It is, because I don't want costs to be an obstacle for readers.
And there's always the person out there that says, so where the proceeds go?
Yes. So, right. So I've organized it with the publishers so that when a parish buys X number of books, all those profits will stay with the parish.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Good for
Because
you.
I'm not in it for the money, I'm in it to help the church.
Okay. We're less than a minute. I'm going to give you that time to say whatever you want to say about the book or whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. The one of the priests of St. Matthew's Church in Charlotte, North Carolina, replied to me when I asked, "What would you tell priests today why your church is so exceptionally successful?" And he said, "I would tell the priests, release your power and empower the laity." And I thought that was profound. It takes a lot of courage, because priests are not really trained in that fashion. But I would encourage to be open to working with the laity of the church, because many of our parishes have just beautiful, faith-filled, skilled
Okay.
people.
And willing to help. Marijka, thanks for being my guest today.
Oh, it's my pleasure,
It's
Joe.
great catching up with you folks. You've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. My guest today has been Marijka Lampard. And check out her book called Restoring Truth in
Trust.
the Trust.
In
Did I
the
say
Catholic,
truth?
yeah.
You talked about truth a lot.
Yeah, oh, I know.
Restoring Trust in the Catholic Parish. I make a boo-boo there. So anyways, and you can get it on Amazon and so forth. We're going to be here next week, Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, right here on Access Chautauqua on Spectrum 1301. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, we're everywhere. Take care, have a great week, and get out there and get some sunshine in your life. We'll see you next time. Bye now. So how's that?